What started as defending Russia's borders has now turned into something much worse. President Putin suddenly this morning declared that the Russians' main task is now to ensure the preservation of Russia. And what is currently going on can only be described as a coup d'etat. You see, only the president has the right to appoint the top leadership of the armed forces. And Prigozhin, the leader of the Wagner group, is trying to interrupt Putin's authority. This is indeed a coup d'etat. There can obviously be no greater damage to the image of Russia, especially now with the war in Ukraine, to its armed forces at the current situation. The Russian President Vladimir Putin warned that those on the path of treason or armed rebellion will be punished after the head of the Wagner paramilitary group said his troops has taken control of military facilities in 2 Russian cities, plunging the country into a crisis. Very unexpected. Prigozhin, however, denied that his acts were a coup, saying instead they were a march of justice that would not interfere with the troops in any way. The Wagner PMC will, or Prigozhin said, they will blockade Rostov and go to Moscow until they get the chief of the general staff and Shoigu. He also asserted that his forces would receive wide backing from Russian soldiers, claiming that they were giving a hero's welcome when they entered the Rostov region, and that by Saturday morning 60 to 70 people or men had already joined up with the Wagner paramilitary group. The border guards came out to meet and hugged our fighters, Prigozhin says. However, military activity has become obvious in the Rostov-on-Don Saturday morning, today, when we have seen images that began emerging on social media of military vehicles going through the streets of Rostov and helicopters ahead of Saturday morning. Now, the Rostov region governor, Vasily, earlier asked residents to stay calm and not leave their homes. He did that in a Telegram post. So the Rostov region is about 1,000 kilometers from Moscow, and Rostov has a population of around 1 million. Now, in the first suggestion of open armed conflict between the two sides this Saturday morning, Prigozhin today said his units, they were hit by a helicopter on a highway, but that the Wagner units are intact. The helicopter is destroyed and is burning in the forest, adding, "We will take it as a threat and destroy everything around us." Prigozhin also claimed a second helicopter was downed after it attacked civilians. Now, Prigozhin also said that the alleged Wagner takeover of military facilities in Rostov would not impede military operations, saying his men are not stopping the officers from carrying out their duties when it comes to the war with Ukraine. Now, in Moscow, Mayor Sergei, he said today that an anti-terrorist measures in order to strengthen security were being carried out in the capital as a result of incoming information. Additional control on the roads has been introduced, and of course, limitations on public events, I think, have been cancelled. Social media posts showed military vehicles were seen driving around the main street of the Russian capital in the early hours of Saturday, like 5-6 hours ago. So Prigozhin's actions came after he accused Russian forces of striking a Wagner military camp and killing a huge amount of his fighters, and a claim, well, at least a claim, Russia's Ministry of Defense has denied and called informational provocation. In other words, misinformation. Now, Prigozhin, whose forces have played a key role in Russia's invasion of Ukraine, warned of retribution in a series of telegram messages Friday and Saturday, where he announced that his forces were moving into the Rostov region neighboring Russian-occupied Ukraine, ready to destroy everything in their way. He said, There are 25,000 of us, and we are going to find out why there is such chaos in the country. There are 25,000 of us waiting as a tactical reserve and a strategic reserve. It's the whole army and the whole country, everyone who wants to join us. We must end this debacle, he said, in a radical escalation of a long-standing feud with Russia's military leaders. You can also see here that Yevgeny Prigozhin, I can't really pronounce that name, but here from the headquarters of the Southern Military District of the Russian Armed Forces in Rostov. He announced the control of the headquarters building by Russian volunteers from the Wagner group, as well as taking control of the airfield in order to prevent the takeoff of combat aircraft, but this does not interfere with logistics and sanitary boards, he said. Furthermore, here we can see military trucks and about a dozen armored personal carriers. And this is the situation on Highway M4 Don in the Moscow region. So it does look like that the Wagner group is pushing towards Moscow. Now, I will try to keep you updated. It is scary what's going on, but let's see what will happen.